And about brand and design, of course, they work really strongly together, and today you cannot separate design from the brand. Of course, as a designer, we did this single frame, the grille, as some kind of sign for the brand. So the idea is, if you take the logo away of an Audi, you still see it's an Audi because of the form language and some elements. And so, on the one hand, we are creating, of course, a product, but on the other hand, we are showing our brand values, I just explained. So we have to express this. And the customer will see the product, and then he will understand the brand values. And the reason we are all in the beginning had the same idea basically about what Audi is was only because the product shows exactly this values. Over a long period of time, there was a tradition built of what Audi is. And then this is then called the brand identity. And as a designer, of course, it's always important to understand, of course, the brand, but also what the people want, what is needed from the society. Take all this into your head, brain, and come with a product which shows all these different aspects. So there is one kind of theory which is called the identity-oriented brand management. So what does that mean? I think this theory is quite successful. That simply means that every brand has an identity, like a human being. So there is a Mr. Brand, of course we had Mr. Horch, and if you translate Horch, which is German into Latin, you come to Audi, that means Audi. There is Mr. Brand or Mr. Audi, and he has certain values, a certain character, a certain identity. And this is what you do also with other brands. Basically, you can describe all brands with their brand identity. And this is part of our job, creating also this brand identity, fitting in there. So identity is a famous question. So who am I? One of the scientists, he always is recommending his students, if you don't know who you are, then go to Amazon. Look in there, because they have a profile. They check which books you check, and then in the bottom line also they're making suggestions what kind of books you should buy. So if you don't know who you are, then look at this suggestion, because then you get some kind of idea. But who is Audi? Of course, as a sporty brand, we had in the 30s the Type C, or in the 80s our rally car, or nowadays our Le Mans car. But even though sporty is always the brand value, in every time you have to make a new interpretation, maybe with a new sports, with a new idea, with a new technology. So also then for you would be what's coming here for the next 10 years. And even though Audi is one fixed brand, we have lots of different cars from the past or in the future. They're all Audis. And you are building with your idea, with the 4 rings there, you are still building this brand, develop it further. So it has to fit into the development. And then this is one example from Volkswagen over generations. They're all Golfs. Yeah, they're all a little bit different, but they all have a same truth in there. The center, the focus is the same. Also here, they're all 911s, but there's a lot of time difference. They don't change so much on the 911, but maybe more of the Golf. And it's also like here. So consider always that this is an ongoing game, and maybe you are just in the middle one part, and you are creating whatever you do something for Audi, so it has to fit into the generations game. Then in this context we understand this, of course. So you had the old Audi Sports Quattro winning Pikes Peak and many rally cars, and then celebrating 30 years of Audi Quattro. And this is not just, we take the old car and changing it a little bit, making new. No, you take the old things which are important, the genes, the DNA, and make it new into tomorrow's world. So it's not just copy and paste, because then this is what happens. Everybody will laugh if you don't do it right, so don't do this. Basically, you have to really understand what you do, understand the problem, understand the customer, understand the time, also understand yourself, and then combining this into your new product, and then hopefully this will fit then to Audi. And how do you do this? What kind of help can you get? Basically, you have all the logical parts, like a prognosis, lots of data, lots of information. The problem is today not that you don't have enough information, the problem is that you don't know what to do with it. So you have to make an interpretation of all the data. What does it mean? And then, of course, nobody can foresee the future, so we don't have the crystal ball. But you have to also use something which is called anticipation. I mean, this guy, yeah? Why is he jumping to the right corner? And the player, why is he shooting the ball in this corner, not in the other one? And that's exactly just think if you are this goalkeeper, what are you doing? You stand there. You don't just stand there and wait what will come. You always think, probably he will shoot in this corner, because in the last 10 penalties he was shooting, he always took this one. So maybe I just do the same thing. Or maybe if he's clever, the last 10 times he was using this corner, no, I take the other one. So this is the kind of intuition. This is not a mental process where you really understand what you do, but you need some kind of feeling what's going on. So the knowledge and your emotional feelings are very important. You have to combine these two to come to new ideas, and then hopefully you get into the right direction. And the last question is, what is success? Very important question for designers. What is success? So, if your boss says, hey, nice, great work, maybe the customers don't buy it. Or is it enough that many customers buy your product? Is that enough? Or do you have another approach to quality? Maybe your product is in the Museum of Modern Art, in all the newspapers or design magazines and blogs. Ah, fantastic, but nobody's buying it. Yeah. So, what success is, nobody knows. You have to answer yourself. But what success is, this is in design not so easy. But the economic success is a very important part. Because if you are an artist and nobody will buy your picture, then people think probably he's a good artist. But if you are an industrial designer and nobody is buying your products, then you did something wrong, definitely. That doesn't mean if everybody is buying it, it's good design. But at least the company is surviving, and you can next try and try harder. Okay.